Blackface is wrong. Racist. Cannot do it. We agree? We agree. Okay, good. Blackface is wrong. Cannot do it. Blackface is wrong. Well, I have to ask the blackfaces. I can't ask the fucking rest of y'all. Blackface is wrong. It's racist. You cannot do it. Under no circumstances. Cannot do it. Then you see them Navy SEALs commercials. You're like, all right, well, kind of sometimes you could do it. The whole Navy SEALs commercial is like, look how cool blackface is on a helicopter. Look how cool blackface is on a boat. Blackface in the water. They can swim. I don't know if they say that. I don't know if they say that. I might have added that part. I might have added that part. That's on me. But I'm just saying, life or death situation, it changes the stakes. Let's say, for example, me and you, we're going on a mission to save America. The mission takes place at 1 a.m. That is an important piece of the information on the call sheet. You have your complexion. I have the complexion of an iPhone flashlight. If you don't give me blackface, we're fucking dead. I'm a disco ball in the desert. They're gonna see us from a mile away. It's headshots for the both of us. You wanna see her again? You gotta paint me the fuck up, bro. Full thing. You don't have to do the lips and the tap shoes. That's a little bit much, but you gotta paint me up. You gotta paint me the fuck up. You're not gonna let me go on that mission with you without putting on blackface for your safety. Just like I'm not gonna let you smile. There's certain things, guys.
Most embarrassing moments in the history of journalism. Fox issued a statement saying, quote, "We are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion voting systems. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. The settlement reflects," I'm sorry, this is going to be difficult to say with a straight face. "This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. We are hopeful that our sorry.
I'd like to ask Senator Dickey to yield to a question.
Senator Dickey, will you yield?
No.
I'm going to ask him again. I think this is very important. I would like Senator Dickey to yield. That's central to the bill. So if you won't yield, I'd like to ask Senator Whitford to yield.
Senator Whitford, will you yield?
No.
Well, I'm in shock. I mean, is this democracy? Is that what's going on? We're passing bills out of this chamber for appropriations that have no numbers in it. The public gets cut out, and now we're cutting the public out because I, as a senator, cannot ask a single question of any majority party member about a bill that affects people's lives.
This Bible prophecy is happening right before our eyes in real time.
All right, let's see it.
In the book of Revelation in the Bible, it talks about the great Euphrates River in the Middle East. And it says that in the last days, before God destroys the earth, that this great river will actually dry up.
So this is in Revelation chapter 16, verse 12, where it says, "The sixth angel will pour out their bowl on the Euphrates River, and it will dry up, which will allow the kings of the east to cross over to invade." This is not a prophecy about the future. This is part of first century Greco-Roman Jewish/Christian apocalyptic imagery.
Well, this is the current state of that river. It's drying up right now.
That is not the Euphrates River, and that is not the current state of that river. That is a stock photo taken almost 15 years ago in June of 2008 of a dried riverbed on the island of Lesbos in the nation of Greece.
But that's not all.
That's not anything.
The Bible says that God chained up 4 fallen angels and actually imprisoned them underneath that river.
So now we've jumped back from Revelation chapter 16 to Revelation chapter 9, verse 14, which does not refer to 4 angels being bound underneath the Euphrates River, but 4 angels being bound epi, which means upon or at the great river Euphrates.
And according to the Bible timeline, when that river dries up,
so this is also not the Euphrates River. This is a picture of a region called Chibaish, which is in southern Iraq's central marshes. This is marshland that is fed by the Euphrates in part, but more by the Tigris as well as numerous other tributaries. And the water levels have been rising and falling there since the 90s, largely because of Turkey and Iran controlling how much water is allowed to flow through those tributaries.
they will be released from under the river to slaughter 1/3 of mankind, and the river is almost dried up.
So the book of Revelation's description of the 4 angels being released to go kill 1/3 of humankind in chapter 9 is unrelated to the statement about the river Euphrates drying up to make way for the kings from the east in Revelation chapter 16. Additionally, that is also not the Euphrates River, that is the dried up Lake Mead in Boulder City, Nevada.
So it's only a matter of time before those angels are on the earth. If you agree that it's time to get ready for Jesus' return, type amen in the comments and click follow or subscribe for more.
So none of this is accurate. The book of Revelation isn't even a prophecy about the future. It is apocalyptic literature that was intended to exhort late first century Christians to remain faithful in the face of potential Roman persecution, however real or imagined it may have been. And this video is phenomenally harmful, ignorant, and deceptive fear-mongering, and this kind of nonsense needs to stop.
By now you guys have all seen this double-decker bus?
Clearly she needs a lot of work to get done.
This is what the first floor looks like.
So we still need to rip up all these seats?
Now we go to the top floor.
But the top floor has so much untapped potential. The thing is,
we need more than just our hands to do it.
if you're free and you're in Austin this Saturday,
Want to be a part of a really cool community? DM us on Instagram.
or we can kickback and bonfire for everybody who comes out.
By now you guys have all seen this double-decker bus?
Here at what I got at the gas station. I ain't had one of these shits in probably 20 years. We used to play with them though. This is what I used to do.
Hey, you, what's your problem? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you said. When you come around here last week and you's calling and I ain't even got my check.
To hear why you're upset. Tell us.
Because, like, other animals and chickens and cow and pigs and other animals that get killed for food, I don't like that. Because I like nature.
And good, sweetheart.
Because nature is beautiful and animals are part of nature.
Clara, I will never make you eat an animal.
Okay, but I love bacon and chicken, so I can't decide to never eat them again or eat them.
Clara, you have to decide right now.
You're only 5 3/4.
So you can decide on a daily basis. That's okay. Every day every meal you decide, okay? And Mama and Daddy will support that, okay?
I love the hesitation there.
Okay, I never want to be fed an animal again. Never.
Okay.
Okay, honey. Okay, all right.
Either plants, fruits, but no animals.
Okay, okay.
Everybody stop recording! On the TikTok, he was not fucking attacking. What the fuck? I will break the phone.
Oh my god, there he goes again!
Everybody start recording! Man, look! Everybody's recording!
Leave! Are you kidding me? Like,
everybody has you recording! Everybody start recording! Start recording!
I hope we do. Go home! Take him home!
And that's how you clear out the little dog park. Everyone went home. Yeah, he's still doing it. Your dog just attacked 2 dogs.
Fuck you. I'm here all the fucking time. Fuck you, you fucking
Go home. Go home. She's not fucking taking him home. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. Oh my god.
fucking playing that shit.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Take him home! Take him home!
It wouldn't have happened. Take your dog home.
Are you kidding me? You just left him here?
You're just leaving him?
Are you kidding me? Someone call the SPCA. We have, like, she clearly does not give a shit about this dog.
Honey, are you irresponsible dog behavior?
Yeah. No, she didn't get things no, but you shouldn't even be putting him in this situation. She just left.
The dog part.
And he's gonna attack another dog.
Jackie, I'll see you. Come here, girl. Come on, baby. We gotta go. No.
Are you fucking kidding me? I have the whole thing on tape. I'm gonna send it to the authorities.
Wow. Cedar!
One of my favorite modern-day mathematicians is incredibly controversial. Some people think she's an absolute menace, but I think she is iconic and an absolute fucking queen. There's a website called Math Stack Exchange, which is kind of like a Q&A forum for math questions, where back in late 2013, someone posted this absolutely insane integral asking if anybody knew of how to solve it. The user said computer programs couldn't solve it, and the first person who commented asked if there was any reason to think that there might even be a solution. This is where Cleo comes in. She is incredibly gifted at coming up with solutions to integrals that people don't even know are possible. But the problem is the way that she gives her answers leaves a lot of people really pissed off. 4 hours after the initial post, she just drops an answer with no explanation and just leaves. And this style of an answer with no explanation and then bailing pissed a bunch of people off, and the comments are a bunch of people arguing about whether or not this should count as a valid answer. What made it worse was that this answer is completely ridiculous. I mean, 4 pi times the arc cotangent of the square root of the golden ratio? What the fuck? Nobody's seen an answer to an integral that looks like that. It looks made up, but the answer is right. What is even funnier is that the only piece of extra information she left is a link to explain what the golden ratio is. In case you want to see how ridiculous it is that she was able to get this answer in just 4 hours, here is what was eventually the accepted answer that was posted 3 days later. Look how much work this is. And the person didn't even get the answer on the first go around. This was their initial answer, and then they came back and tried again, and then they got this answer, which is still not the simplified form, and then on their third attempt, they were able to simplify it down finally to what Cleo got. For about 2 weeks, Cleo would go on an absolute tear, solving a ton of insanely difficult integrals, and no matter how many problems she solved, people were never convinced. Such as this person who said answers such as this add no value to the site. Simply stating a number out of thin air is not mathematics. Although some people did love her work. Look at this user. Well, Cleo's at it again. Well done. Or this user who simply asked, "Are you a wizard?" Unfortunately, our absolutely iconic queen stopped posting on the site on New Year's Eve 2015. Nobody knows what happened. She never comments or explains anything anyway. But hopefully she's doing well, and nowadays, several years later, people have kind of come around on her answers to appreciate them for just how funny and iconic the act of her dropping an answer and fucking off really is. Look at this person. Cheers, Cleo. You have become a legend to me. Or sometimes I miss Cleo's answers. I personally love her stuff and consider her one of my favorite modern day mathematicians.
Hey, undercover. Agent Sanders, I've been telling you for a while. Sir, please. No, no, no! Pull over the car! Pull it over now! Pull over the car! I'm not gonna ask you again. Yeah, we got it. He's rolling down Interstate 15. He's northbound. Pull over the car. Hey, I got the car. Pull over.
We've been assuming my grandmother was going to die next year, every year, for my entire life. And here she is, 106 years old.
I can't hear her, can't see. Half the time I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's easier to name types of cancer she hasn't had, yet somehow she's still making me, a totally able-bodied person, breakfast. Everyone says, don't let her wait on you, like there's some way I could stop her. This woman is obsessed with making sure I have enough blankets. Not only does she refuse to stop living, she refuses to retire as the manager of my own personal Denny's. Which begs the question, what's her secret? She must have lived a healthy lifestyle, right?
In them days, you could smoke right as you worked. Right at your desk or your bed, you could smoke. It gotta be at least a pack a day.
Okay, not a healthy lifestyle. In fact, when she was 48, she had a heart attack so massive, they read her last rites. And guess what? She outlived everyone in that room. Even 3 months ago, we were convinced this was it. Turns out it was just a UTI. Seriously, Google old people UTI crazy. Not only does she not look a day over 87, she somehow looks better than she did when I was younger. Just take a look through all the albums. God damn it, she saved all my old thirst traps? That's embarrassing. Well, it looks like she saved everything. We got my mom and her prom date, this very creepy doll, Satan, her old car.
How much did I pay for that? I think I paid $11 for it.
And who could forget? These people.
No, I don't know who that is.
She's basically Ancestry.com, except you have to scream all of your questions at the top of your lungs. Where were your parents born?
Father was born up in Canada. I think in Quebec somewhere.
And guess when she was born?
1917.
Which means this woman lived through both world wars. What was World War II like?
We partied.
During World War II?
Yeah, it was crazy. Drank a lot, smoked. When you're young, you're young. What do you do then? You party.
She's not a veteran. She's an active duty party animal. Just watch her get drunk and refer to me as her boyfriend, which makes me very uncomfortable. While you're at it, you might as well pour yourself a drink into the most recent mug she owns and get some hooch out of the liquor cabinet. Wait, how did I not know about this cabinet when I was in high school? Probably because there's so much crap in this house, I'm still noticing things I've never noticed before. If her walls could talk, they'd be diagnosed with ADHD. Follow the trails of used Kleenex she leaves around like she's the Easter Bunny, and you'll find things like a spoon collection, the clog on top of the fridge, her grandma action figures, and this giant fruit butt plug. If you gaze into the magic eye book that is the floor, you'll see the secret image of duct tape that's just barely hanging on. And below that floor, there's the basement I've always been afraid of. Think Enchanted Tiki Room meets Saw. And when you leave, if you leave, don't forget to lock the cellar door, or else she'll get mad at you, cause she seems to think there are a lot of moldy life jacket thieves out there. And while I disagree with her on this viewpoint, and also the existence of God, I try not to piss her off too much, because she's the only muse I got. When I was in 5th grade, I wrote this essay about her house that got a perfect score.
Oh, yeah, about you living at your grandmother's house?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
The validation I got from that is probably what caused me to think I could be a writer. I'm sure she regrets nurturing my creativity now, considering I've made her play basketball, do like 45 takes of karaoke, and I almost lit her house on fire with the 104 candles I got her for her birthday. Do you like making these videos?
Not really.
Well, she should have thought about that before she decided to be funnier than me. Which I realized years ago when I made this movie about all of the women I had gone out with. And the only part of it anyone liked was the interview I did with her, where I had her react to my dating stories. Later, when I was doing sketch comedy in New York, I remembered that footage and had the idea to play it at my shows.
So I'm going to show you a clip. This is a clip of my 98-year-old grandmother, Doris Brown, talking about my ex-girlfriend.
I'll bet she has a mental problem. No words to describe a person that is just a mean, rotten critter. And that kind of a shitty person don't have no feelings. I wouldn't even give her a slice of bread. I would never forgive her, that's for one thing. But I certainly would try my best to get even.
And at the end of all of these shows, we would do this musical number. And she'd come all the way from the middle of nowhere, Connecticut, to surprise everybody and show up on stage. The crowd would flip out. And I'm glad at least one of us could get applause that loud. It's very validating to know that everyone loves my grandma as much as I do.
How would you like to be remembered?
That's a pretty good person. I don't want to take no honors.
So maybe the secret to living to 106 is to stay humble, have a sense of humor, and
be kind and good to people. If you're mean and rotten, they hate you.
Yeah, Dana. Anyway, in conclusion, I think the world would be a better place if we all took after this very old woman. That's why I've been writing these pretty good essays ever since 5th grade. Because she's been a pretty good person and a pretty good grandma. And if she does die next year, this year, we'll all say she had a pretty good run. But I don't think we'll get that opportunity. Because odds are, she'll probably outlive all of us.
I hope you'll now will all want to go to my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
The reason teachers are leaving is not because of teacher pay, and I will tell you why. I'm a band director, which means I get paid more than most teachers. It's an incentive to show up and stay late, for sure, but it's not enough. Even if every teacher in the state of Texas got a $10,000 raise per year, we would still be dealing with some of the same issues we're dealing with right now. Let me just tell you what I've been dealing with in the last 48 hours. There's a list. Yesterday, I broke up an assault in my band hall. Not a fight, an assault. A kid punching another kid in the head at least 4 or 5 times. Some mystery kid decided to get creative over the last 12 hours when I wasn't paying attention and literally took every single string off of every single French horn that we own, making them unplayable. I set up a drum set station for my percussionist. I was so excited because they have been begging me all year to play drum set. It took 24 hours for somebody to break the hi-hat. People stealing and using instruments that aren't theirs, even if it's in a locker. I had another kid hit somebody else in the face when their trumpet was on their face because they were blowing it in their direction. I had another kid in the same class flip me off and then try to lie about it. And before you come at me in the comments saying I knew what I signed up for, yeah, I do get it. But I've been told from multiple people on my campus that the band kids are the best acting, well-behaved students on campus, and I still have to deal with this garbage every single day. This is not a money problem. It's not an admin problem. It's not a parent problem. It is an emotional dysregulation problem. Never in my 13 years of teaching have I ever had such a problem with kids keeping their hands to themselves and keeping them from destroying property. I understand they're kids and part of our job is to keep them regulated and to teach them how to do it, but I have repeated myself so many times this year. I have posted things on the wall. I've given them lectures. I've written them up. I've failed them. The corrective measures that we've used in the past do not work anymore. These kids do not care if they fail. They do not care if they're written up. They do not care if they get OSS. The only thing that most of them care about is how they're going to be entertained in the next 5 minutes of their life. And I try not to be a millennial teacher that blames technology because I am steeped in technology. I love TikTok. I use technology in my class all the time. But it's as if some of these kids have literally given up on life. It's like they've given up on doing anything special, and they're 12. They're 12. I was so excited to start this year because I wanted to make some kind of an impact and get back into the classroom, but I feel like I've been chasing my tail all year. I love my kids, but I'm beaten and abused and tired. The system doesn't work and we are failing them. And the teachers, we're failing teachers too.
Fox News is out a whole lot of money, but they're not telling their viewers any of that, and they don't have to because the settlement does not force them to own up to the damage they did to our country or apologize on their network. So, we feel the same way. So we've decided to make them apologize on our network.
Before we go tonight, we want to say we're sorry to Dominion and to the American people. We here at Fox News lied to you about the 2020 election.
Repeatedly and consistently,
We admit that we are guilty
of amplifying those voices.
insane people like this guy.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell.
A guy like this is given a platform
Because we want to make sure
when you're watching Fox News, and it will make you dumber.
My original My Slippers are back in stock.
Please take us off television before we allow these crooks to turn our country into
Dumps, big, massive dumps.
We've done our part now.
Oh, shut up. I'm not mad. The way I see it, people are like chips. Spicy or acidic. Or would it kill you to be sweet? Open them. I dare you. Just be the kind of guy who opens a bag of chips in the middle of a grocery store. I don't get it. And he never did. Come on. Didn't you say you needed cold cuts?
Alright, I'll get this. So I was hanging out with this guy tonight, and we were talking about like movies and shows, and I was like, oh, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he was like, oh, I really like the live action film. And I was like, the live action film of Avatar: The Last Airbender? Are you? He's like, yeah, what's that creature called? Like Oppa or Appa? I was like, Appa? So I don't know, guys. I don't think I'm gonna see him again.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Well,
you should not be surprised.
I agree to a certain extent. I think that the question is when the pedal hits the metal. Like you talk in the book about technology and how it's shifting and taking away jobs from folks.
Yes.
And you make specific reference to truck driving and the fact that there are going to be these automated cars on the roads. So would you, Tucker Carlson, be in favor of restrictions on the ability of trucking companies to use this sort of technology specifically to, sort of artificially maintain the number of jobs that are available in the trucking industry?
Are you joking? In a second. In a second. In other words, if I were president, when I say to DOT, to Department of Transportation, we're not letting driverless trucks on the road, period. Why? Really simple. Driving for a living is the single most common job for high school educated men in this country, in all 50 states. By the way, that's the same group whose wages have gone down by 11% over the past 30 years. The social cost of eliminating their jobs in a 10-year span, 5-year span, 30-year span is so high that it's not sustainable. So the greater good is protecting your citizens from, look, capitalism is the best economic system I can think of, I think that anyone's ever thought of. But that doesn't mean that it's a religion and everything about it is good.
No, but
there's no Nicene Creed of capitalism that I have to buy into. What I care about is living in a country where, decent people can live happy lives, actually. And so, no, I would say immediately, no, are you joking? And I maybe would make up some pretext for public consumption, like, oh, they're dangerous. The technology is not quite finessed. No. But the truth would be, I don't want to put 10 million men out of work because you're going to have 10 million dead families, and the cascading effect from that will wreck your country.
I'm going to tell you what it's like to be a mom in America right now. I started taking a picture of my son every single day before school because I want to make sure that in the event of a school shooting, I know with certainty what he wore to school that day.
I told my son that even though the teacher tells him otherwise, I want him to be the last in line if the fire alarm is pulled, because statistically, it is a higher chance that an active shooter is pulling the alarm to lure the children out than an actual fire. I refuse to get my son light-up shoes because he can't hide in a closet if his shoes are lighting up. I'm adding a bulletproof insert to my kid's backpack for his school supply list next year. Meanwhile, people are more worried about their Second Amendment than my soon-to-be second grader. And yet still, every single day, my son is expected to place his little hand over his heart and pledge allegiance to a country that doesn't give a shit if he's safe at school.